Alright guys, so I just got off work. It's like 11:05 or something like that right now. Fucking exhausted. Worst part about getting off late at night is I'm known to piss off people, especially because I get off right as everyone's going to bed. That's the problem with my job. I don't get morning hours. They're always like, oh yeah, you'll get morning hours one of these days. It's been a year and a half. They just want someone as a night guy. Honestly, I don't get paid that much either. Talked about it before, I really don't. For a lot of the shit I put up with, I can tell you guys, $13 an hour. It might seem like a lot compared to minimum wage right now, but when minimum wage goes up, they ain't paying me $1 more than $15 an hour, if that actually fully goes through. So yeah, going on to what I want to do right now. It's late. I just gonna cruise home. Not much else going on anyways right now. So yeah. I wanted to do a part 2 video on why I think the Kawasaki Ninja 250R should not be, really shouldn't be a considerable bike. I guess in the greater sense is because, I'm gonna be blunt with you guys. I'm 200 pounds, I'm 5'5", I'm average, I guess you could call it. I'm either average or I'm just right up, maybe below or above average. I don't know what you consider. But, for the most part, this bike looks fucking small on me. I've always been a big fucking guy. I'm stocky. Which is a blessing, because if I wasn't stocky, I could bet you this right now. When I crashed this bike at 65 miles an hour, I would not be, my arm would have been broken, my leg, something would have been seriously broken. So yeah, that's another big reason why I'm not a big fan of the 250. Is it's just this one looks like a 600 because I did a bunch of stuff that would be on like a ZX6R, the fairing delete, a bunch of different shit. And for the most part, I didn't make the bike any faster. I just made it look better because it's like a racer almost. A raced car, race-inspired cosmetic mod, like Hondas do. All you can do is make them look fast, but they'll never really be fast unless you do something outrageous with them. And no offense, with the 250, there's really not a lot you can do. Besides that, the bike is not a fast bike. It's a starter bike. And I want to go over something. I don't think it's an absolute horrible bike. I don't. It definitely has its moments of, okay, this is a good bike. Reliability. That's about the only thing that's with the 250. It has no speed. It really doesn't. And I have to be honest, getting onto the freeway, yeah, it is dangerous. Some of you 250 guys out there don't admit that. But the fact that it takes the 0 to 60 time like 5-6 seconds to hit 60, and then at 70 it dies out with no power, that's extremely dangerous. That's why I don't think 250s should really even be considered in California. You need a bike that can easily hit 80. Now I say this because there's a lot of incidences that I've been in on the freeway, and I'm just talking freeway specifically, where this bike can get you into some serious trouble. Now, the reasoning is, this bike, because it doesn't have that extra power, I've been merged in on so many times around that, in general, there's nothing I can do. Most of the time, it's either you break out of the situation or, you find an alternative. You find a something you can do to get yourself out of this situation. I've literally gone into the shoulders on freeways because I've had people merge in on me. Here's a great one for you. Picture, I'm trying to pass a semi, and this is over near the 33. This is where the 33 on-ramp is, heading towards Ojai. So it's 101, it continues north to Santa Barbara. And, there we go. And, he merged in. So picture, I'm in the middle of this semi, and he comes flying over, because I'm in his blind spot. Well, what can I do? I can't, or back out of it, because there's still a likeliness that semi's going to crunch me in, and I can't, judge in that short amount of time, be able to judge, okay, there's a car behind me, I can't reverse, or brake. Well, I can't power out of it either, because this bike doesn't have the necessity of power. And I cannot stress that to some motorcyclist out there. If I can completely understand this bike for someone who lives in the city who wants to commute. And I do say that with, enthusiasm. Someone who lives in the city who commutes, because that's where this bike would appeal to somebody. But I don't live in a big city. I live in a small city. Second of all, my trip is consistently on the freeway. To keep at 80 miles per hour, even though my speedometer doesn't work, at 10,000 RPMs in 6th gear, I'm about going 79 or 78.7 to about 80 miles an hour. I'm pretty sure on that one. I'm like 98% sure. And, that's really high revving. That's consistent high revving on a bike. That's unnecessary high revving. I know motorcycles are high revving vehicles, but to have it at that for a consistent 20-30 minutes, and red lines at 13 technically is when it red lines, you're putting a lot of consistent stress on this bike. And the worst thing about it is you murder it. You put out a lot of pain. Like, that would be like someone consistently pushing you. And I've got to do this with this bike all the time. And a bigger bike, look at your commute, look at what you're planning to do. Like for me, I wear a backpack. I know a Harley should have been a better option because I can put bags on the side, and they're torque monsters. They really are. But I don't like the look of Harleys for my personal taste. I'm not a cruiser guy. I just don't have that in me. The FZ07 I want is a perfect sports bike. And honestly, I'm going to put it like this. I've seen a lot of people start off on the FZ07, and they thoroughly enjoy the bike because there's so much, raw potential. The bike has balls. If this thing has balls, I'd be surprised where they are. Sure, maybe, what? I'll even be honest. Cornering in this thing, it sucks too, because you can't, if I want to put my knee down, I can't, because it's not built to do that. A 600 is. All the stuff I want to do, I can't. That sucks. I see these 600 riders I want to ride with. I see these bigger bike riders in general I want to ride with. Well, I have to keep my bike in a screaming tone to keep up with them. Sure, there's actually a small group of bikes that I knew, but there's not anymore. Everyone I used to ride with has gone up bigger, and the only reason why I haven't is because I don't have a co-signer. I don't have any credit. My family's horrible with money. I'm the only one who's actually gotten vehicles in this family for years. And that's because I'm willing to put my time and money and effort into them. And that's cool and all, but, when it comes down to it, I had to get an outside person to actually co-sign for this, which was probably the ultimate thing. I probably wouldn't even have a motorcycle. I wouldn't even have tried to get a motorcycle. I've been wanting one for a while, but the problem was, these are considered toys for lenders, loaners, banks, all that good stuff. And this is one of the darkest streets I know of, so it's kind of sketchy. Anyways, that's something big in my opinion, I think this is an absolute great starter bike. Don't get me wrong there. I think this bike has so much potential for a newbie because you can't get yourself into serious situations, But you also can't learn anything. So what? You learn the basics, but when you need to learn about those emergency stuff, this bike's not going to teach you. It's really not. Because if you're putting yourself into dangerous situations with this bike, you're putting yourself into dangerous situations purposely. And I admit, I do that sometimes. I already know that my emergency maneuvers on this bike. This isn't a heavy bike. This isn't going to kill me. This isn't going to kill anybody else. You know? Like, realistically, the only one who's going to get hurt is me. This bike will not kill you. It really won't, unless you're doing something stupid. Now, if you're on a bigger 600, Super Sport, or you're on a, you know what, let's use the Super Sport. If you're on that bike, yeah, that bike will kill you. That bike will hit well into the hundreds. Well into the hundreds. And a 1 liter, oh, don't even get me started. If you start off on a 1 liter, I could probably outmaneuver you. Surely, because this is a lighter bike and I've got more skills. And I say this when I'm a newbie. When I was a newbie, I was just learning how to ride. And if I versed, and I did verse, 1R1, going up Malibu. And he was a brand new rider too. I think I had a month on him. Actually, you know what? I did have a month on him. But you know what? He could not corner for shit. He could not lean the bike. I mean, that bike can lean, trust me. R1s, oh, you don't want to get in a lean on those unless you're prepared. And the kid was scared. I mean, I was like, fuck it, if I go down, I go down. It's something you get used to. Now, in its own right, I'll put it like this. I think if you get a 650 would have been a great bike for me. It has all the power range I want. I know it can go fast. It's not a race horse, and it's not a lot of slow work horse. It's in between. It's the middle guy. And that's kind of like what I wish I could have jumped to. Because sure, this is a sport bike. It's a 250, but there's like the potential of the 250 is like, why would I want to do anything to this bike? You'll never make your money out of it, and you should never expect to make money. But when you put mods, you should make more than what you get out, than what you would get, stock. Most people don't care if there's mods on the 250. They really don't. One, because why would they? If there's a stock bike that's, $600-700 cheaper, why would you buy a pre-modded bike that has someone else's specialty, someone else's, being, their independence, their individualism? That might sound stupid, but I'm not a guy who wants to buy a modded bike. I don't want to know if there's I want a stock exhaust on a bike that I buy. The reason why is because then, I can put the mods I want. And if, there are mods on the bike, I will sell those mods. I'll sell the exhaust. I'll sell all the things that people would typically be like, oh yeah, I want a Yoshimura. Fuck the Yoshimura. I'll get a Two Brothers Racing exhaust instead. Why? Because they have morbid balls, in my opinion. I am going the back way. And no, I'm not going to speed through here because late at night, oh hell no. I mean, my bike's already loud enough. I know I'm going to piss off someone who lives down here. I've never actually done this at night, so I mean, I always do it during the day because you guys saw it in the last video, but to go back at night, I mean, I've got a darker visor on too, so picture that I can only see maybe 30 feet in front of me, which is why I'm not trying to speed right now. I mean, if I pull the visor up, let's see, I see about that far. But again, what I feel might be a little bit different than you feel. You might like your 250. And I know it's other countries in the... Ah, fuck. I missed it. Missed my fucking turn. See? I had the visor up, too. Oh, nope. There we go. So anyways, what I might feel about this bike is totally going to be different than what you feel. I'm not going to lie. 6 months, 6 months with this bike would be perfect for everybody. You know, Britain, I think it's Britain, you have to own a smaller bike like a 250 for a year. And I think, you know, at that point, I would never want to ride a 250. And what I find is funny is, yes, I think it's stupid, you know, if someone starts out and they've never touched a bike before in a 1 liter. And I think people that haven't ridden in that long, or like let's say a couple years, like 4 or 5, yeah, really, oh my god, what the fuck was that? Yeah, really. I literally had my heart jump right now. I thought it was gonna run right in front of my tire. I'm pulling up my fucking visor. Like, the worst thing about going through this road is I had like a little fucking rabbit or something run across. You want to talk about shit scared? I mean, I was fucking shit scared. Because I didn't know what the hell it was. You know, this back road, Santa Ana, like, to do this late at night, in a car, yeah, I wouldn't worry. But look at this road. It's really bumpy. And I don't know many motorcyclists that'll take this road late at night. They'll take the 33. And the only reason why I don't want to take the 33 is because I'm kind of bored of that road. Oh, yep, I remember this. I fucking almost get out here. I had a bald ass tire in the rear, and I couldn't brake. I couldn't lean. So what happened was, I literally skid out almost, and I fishtailed the shit out of this bike. I mean, I literally fishtailed. Like, what I could compare the fishtailing to was like launching a Mustang. Like, I literally fishtailed to where the bike was like this, and I just kept looking straight ahead, and when it came to the turn, I went straight into like the guardrail like this. And I went, no, I'm not crashing, you know. I knew, I was like, I'm not gonna crash. It's not gonna happen. And I got maybe a foot and a half from hitting that guardrail back there. And I was scared that day because I knew my tire wasn't gonna hold up. There's a lot of things that were going kind of, you know, suspiciously wrong with my bike. I was like, you know what? I'm like done trying to, you know, kill myself off here. But onwards and upwards, you know, I'm probably gonna get a new sprocket. I'm just gonna keep this bike. I can't trade it in because I'm getting fucked over from the dealer. And I don't mean to be vulgar too much on this, but this is a topic that really irritated me. And like I said, tomorrow will be the day I upload either a video downing a specific dealer that told me they could get me a bike, told me for like 3 weeks, or I'm gonna be like, okay, they were able to do it, because I'm a very, like, you know, if you tell me you're gonna do something, I expect you to do it. And it's the same thing with me. If I say I'm gonna fucking take you all the way down to LA, the place I hate, because I said I would, I will. But what I feel, like I said, is gonna be a lot different than the rest of how you feel. You know, you're gonna love your bike regardless of what I tell you. You get a bike that you like. I'm just giving my opinion on why I feel like the 250 after 6 months, or I've been riding this bike for about 9.5. We're going on 10 starting next month on the 4th. And, you know, basically, you know, what I felt like at 6 months I was going to upgrade, because that's, you know, that was the goal. Well, you know, I got to remember what someone tells me is never going to be the absolute thing. It's not set in stone. And I put myself up for a lot of this stuff where I think, okay, it's going to happen, and it didn't. I should have got a bigger bike that would, you know, be able to be a little bit better for what my purpose is. So me going a little bit faster in the freeway, you know, I don't care if it's a 650 or not. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe for more.